Hi there, I'm Dick Whittington, President and CEO of Northern Vertex and Golden Vertex. It's an exciting story that we have. It started with John Moss discovering the mine. What we have now is a new concept, an open pit mine. We have heap leach processing, modern technology, and so we have what we believe is a winner going forward. What you're going to hear in this story is some of the operations, some of the metallurgy, and some of the safety components of what we do. I hope you enjoy the story. I'll be talking to you a little bit later about giving you some of the other elements of what we're doing in the community and why we're so thrilled to be here in Bullhead City.
Hi, I'm Joe Bardswich. I'm a mining engineer and I'm the general manager of Golden Vertex. We're the operators of the Moss Mine. The current operations at the Moss Mine is a modern open pit, small open pit by Arizona standards. So we're not going underground at this point. There have been underground operations in the past. Basically, we start at the top, at the highest elevation, work our way down. The initial phases, we're going down to the level of the roadways that you can see below. As time goes on, we'll make a pit. The Moss Mine follows the ridge that you can see roughly to the left of the road down below. It's dipping towards the south, and consequently our pit will follow with the footwall side on the left and the hanging wall side on the right, and that pit will go down to approximately 400 feet. From the engineering studies we've done and the resource estimations that have been completed, we estimate that in phase 1 and phase 2 we'll mine a total of 200,000 ounces of gold and 2 million ounces of silver and be able to recover these economically. Initially, the plans were to mine 1,000 metric tons of ore every calendar day, haul it over to the processing area, along with about half that quantity of waste rock to be stockpiled on this side. Presently, the pace is up to about 2,000 metric tons per on a 5-day week basis, so they're ahead of schedule in that respect. Water in the desert is always a problem. We've drilled 16 wells. Some of them were dry wells. We have capacity now to get about 250 gallons a minute, and that would be sufficient to operate a 3,000 ton per day mining operation. We're mining from surface, drilling and blasting, keeping the ore and waste separate, hauling the ore across the ridge over to the processing area, stockpiling the waste in the designated areas on this side of the ridge. The 35-ton, metric ton mining truck came over the ridge from the mining operation. He stockpiles in the background. That ore then is fed into a jaw crusher and a cone crusher across the screening plant. And the -1 inch material is discharged out the conveyor belt that you can see in the background. The ore is then transported to the fine crushing operation, where again with a cone crusher the ore is crushed down to -1/4 inch. The gold here is very finely disseminated throughout the rock, and so it has to be crushed. The ore has to be crushed very finely to be able to expose the gold to the solutions in the heap leach. And from there, it's just a matter of transporting it out along a series of conveyors out to the stacking conveyor, and the stacking conveyor puts it on a heap that's 35 feet high, flat top, 2-to-1 slopes on the side.
I'm Cindy Jones. I'm the Chief Metallurgist here at Golden Vertex, the Moss Mining Project. Behind me is our heap leach pad. It's agglomerated heap leach pile. We have the ore has been stacked, radial stacked on the pad. We have currently 4 cells under leach. Each cell division is, you see a red hose going up one side and a blue hose on the other end. We've got drip emitters in between. That's how we apply solution to the heap leach pad. So each little particle solution drips onto the pad and it percolates through the heap. And as it percolates, goes through the heap, it's dissolving the gold and silver that's in the ore. And at the bottom, we collect it from a series of underdrain piping system. It collects in the channel and then is gravity flowed down into the preg pond. Here at Golden Vertex and in the mining industry, we are stewards of the environment. And to make sure we protect the environment in our business, the leach pad is constructed with a plastic liner underneath the material. During the construction, they came in and they prepared the natural ground. They did a compaction, they smoothed out all the rocks, removed rocks, made it nice and smooth. And underneath that, the white liner is a 60 mil HDPE. Underneath that is a clay bentonite cover, which forms a 2-layer system. You got the bentonite, and then you have the plastic 60 mil liner. To install that, they come in sheets of panels. They seam the two, they overlap. They seam them with a special extrusion welder gun. They go in and the vacuum test each seams, make sure everything's tight, there's no holes. So when we percolate through the heap, we collect the solution, and that liner underneath the ore protects the environment. One of the things with the Moss Mine ore body is we do not have to worry about the acid generation of this ore. The sulfur levels are low to non-existent, so we don't have any acid drainage in this material, or even the potential of generating any acid in this ore. When the solution percolates through the heap leach, it's collected in the channel, and its gravity flows into the preg pond. The preg pond is the closest pond to me. And it's the preg pond because now it contains the gold and silver. Unlike the barren solution pond, which is in the background, is barren because it has very little gold and silver. But once it flows into the preg pond, you notice the black cover on top. We also, in order to protect the wildlife, we have what's called bird balls. They're really disc shape, but they form kind of like a black layer. So any wildlife flying overhead, all they would see was, to them, it looks like a black liner, and keep flying, keep going on to another area for water. You also notice the black liner coming up on the sides. Like the leach pad, we have the protected liner. The ponds are constructed with a 2-liner system, and in between the 2 liners we have a leak detection. So if by chance we happen to accidentally put a tiny hole in the liner, solution will show up in the leak detection. We can go find that hole, patch it, and repair it. We do monitor leak detections daily. We also are doing, even at the leach pad, we're doing a monitoring of the liner system and inspection daily, just proactive to make sure there's no issues in those areas. When the solution enters the preg pond, we pump it to what we call CIC columns, or carbon in columns. They're the gray tanks in the background.
The solution is first pumped into the tallest tank. This is tank number 1. Because the solution is coming directly from the preg pond, tank number 1 will have the highest concentration of gold and silver. In each tank there is 1 ton of carbon. It is activated carbon and it is porous. When the gold and silver in the solution comes in contact with the carbon, there is a reaction and the gold and silver leaves the solution and attaches to the carbon. In order to reclaim all of the gold and silver in the solution moves in progression from tank number 1 to tank number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In each tank, the solution releases more and more of the gold and silver to the carbon until finally it is pumped out of the last tank into the barren pond, barren of gold and silver. In the barren pond, additional cyanide is added to the solution to bring it to the proper level needed to leach the gold and silver from the ore. At this point, the solution is pumped into the leach pad to again percolate down through the leach pile, dissolving the gold and silver, gravity feeding into the preg pond, being pumped through the carbon columns, releasing the gold and silver, and then back into the barren pond in this continuous closed system. On a regular basis, the carbon in the tanks becomes saturated with the gold and silver and must be replaced. The carbon is pumped out of each tank into large shipping bags. Samples of the carbon are taken to provide an accurate record of the gold and silver content. The carbon rich with gold and silver is then shipped for processing, where it will be released from the carbon and concentrated into gold bars for sale on the world market. The samples of the carbon from the CIC tanks is mixed with silica and lead. It is then heated and the carbon is burned off. The gold and silver is now held in a molten liquid glass and lead mixture, and it is poured into small molds. When the molten liquid cools, it becomes slag glass, and contained in the slag glass is an ingot of lead, which now holds the gold and silver. Excess glass is removed and the lead ingots are placed in a loading tray. They are then heated, the lead is burned off, and what remains is the gold and silver that was in the carbon sample. This sampling provides the ratio of gold and silver ounces in each ton of impregnated carbon taken from the leaching process.
Moss Mine Gold-Silver Project is a unique opportunity. We're obviously thrilled to be part of that. We have several initiatives undergoing apart from simply building the mine and providing these jobs, building what we call capacity in the community. We've also got 2 other major initiatives going. One is the Cultural and Historical Center at Community Park. Here we're trying to be a catalyst where we're celebrating the unique history. At the same time, we do want to provide opportunities for people, and really the big opportunity is to have someone from Bullhead City, from Mojave High School, go to university, get a mining engineering degree, and come back and be the general manager of the Moss Mine. To me, that would be one of the most exciting components of what we can do here in Bullhead City. Those channels have been opened. We've opened the Golden Vertex Earth Science Center at Mojave High School. That educational component is obviously also a key part of our program here in terms of building capacity in the community and at the same time providing a long-lasting legacy going forward. We're thrilled to be part of it. We're happy to be here. We hope you enjoyed learning more about the Moss Mine through these various interviews. And if you do have more questions, please do come and see us. We're open for business.